¿Qué pasa, mi raza? Welcome to Los Fantasy Cuz, the boldest and hottest Latino sports podcast, powered by the voices and opinions of three cuz. And every week, we'll bring you the realest takes, some bold predictions, and the latest sports buzz. Whether it's football, gringo football, baseball, or cualquier deporte, we're here to keep it real, keep it caliente, and represent the culture. My name is Fabian, and joining me are my compas, my co-host, my cuz, Rob, and Eric. What's up, guys?
What's good? What's good? You don't announce me as the champion anymore. I get it. I get
You
it.
know,
Still
It's old
returning.
news.
It's all news, yeah.
como
Well,
dice Trompas, fake news.
hey, we know it's in the history books, guys. There's no fake news about it. You know, we handled. But yeah, we're here. We appreciate everyone for listening in. Hopefully you guys have had some interesting things on our takes. But yeah, we're ready for another one.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot to talk about in this episode. We're going to dip into some Champions League, some Premier League, La Liga, some NFL, MLB, Mexican and Fresa of the week, and then we'll end it off with like our top 5 ranking of a segment that we are
Top
introducing now.
four, yeah, Mount
Top
Rushmore.
Top
four, Mount
4.
Rushmore.
Yeah, Mount Rushmore.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I mean,
go.
yeah, bro. I know Champions League there was a lot going on this week for a couple games. Um, I mean, for me, it was on Tuesday. We got some of the good matchups as well. Um, I know Barca they played. Did you watch? What did you think about that one, Eric?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Barca, to me, in my opinion, seems like the favorite right now in Champions League.
Hmm.
But they did what they needed to do in that game against Benfica. I didn't see it any other way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, well, what do you think about it, Fabian?
Like I said, if I would have put a bet on this game, I knew Barca was going to come out. So the aggregate was 4-1 in that one with Rafinha 2 goals. Lamine Yamal had a goal. I got a
A
crazy stat.
golazo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finally got off his scoring where he was having a drought. He's getting
Yeah.
back to that scoring form.
The crazy stat I have is in the past 10 games, all competitions for Barca, they have won 9 games out of 10. And the only tie that they've had was the 4-4 against Atleti. So they
Damn.
have been on a freaking tear, dude.
Yeah, they're score.
They
They know how to score.
exactly. So then their next opponent now is going to be Dortmund.
Yeah. So that I mean, for me, as far as me, I watched the Barca game. I know with Benfica, they left a lot on the first leg. With that red card that there was, they had and then Barca comes at the end and steals the game at the first leg, and after that that was Benfica's. You know, they left that opportunity out there. So for me, it was just I obviously as a Barca fan or a Real Madrid fan wanted
There you go.
to.
It's okay. Admit it, Rob.
We're gonna have to we're gonna have to edit that one out, but
Hey, don't
no,
edit that.
with being a Madrid fan and watching that game, it was just more wanting to watch Benfica capitalize on the red card in the first one, and then I knew second leg that there was no way that the Benfica had a chance. So, like I said, Yamal's getting out of his scoring drought, so good for him. He's showing he always creates opportunities, but the other games, I know that for me going against the Dortmund, we'll see about that next matchup. We'll give a little bit prediction, but they're more of a tournament team. As we know, Dortmund will put in a good match against them.
Yeah. All these next games coming up will be good. So we'll get into it in a little bit later.
Yeah,
What about the next one? The Bayern versus Leverkusen. Did you guys see that one?
yeah. I think I got that take wrong.
What did you say? You wanted Leverkusen.
Yeah, I thought Leverkusen with Xabi Alonso's tactics that they were gonna, they've been doing really good against them, but that one total miss on that one. So I'll admit
You
Yeah, I
that.
had Bayer Leverkusen too, so I was completely wrong on that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys know what the aggregate was on that one?
5-0.
5-0, bro.
Yeah.
And I watched a little bit of this one, and I feel like Bayern finally woke up. Like they finally started like playing good in every position. Davies ended up scoring in this game, so like they're finally starting to look like the Bayern that we expect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're clicking with Kane. Davies has been. I know that he was getting up for a contract renewal, and at this point he's earning his money.
He's earning his money so he can go to Madrid.
No, no, no. He's actually. I think that they signed him already or something. They're already in talks, but
Oh,
I know Madrid would like him, but no, I don't think. I think they're stuck on Arnold,
we'll see
the
then.
right
We'll
back.
see.
Yeah. The other one was Inter, right? Inter, they progressed, so they won 4-1 on aggregate. They've been showing great defense all tournament. That's going to be one of my teams that I feel like is the favorites as well to be in the final per se. Um, their defense is the type of defense that could, you know,
It's a classic Italian defense. Eric
yeah,
and I know that Italy has always been known, all even their national team, for defense, defense,
slow,
defense.
slow build up.
Methodical, right,
That's what
Eric?
we get
Like
with Madrid, huh?
a little
A little
bit.
bit with Ancelotti, with Ancelotti's tactics, the Italian, side still that you get the slow build up sometimes, is my opinion.
You know what I didn't realize in this Inter versus Feyenoord game? Their best player sat out in this game, Lautaro Martinez.
Hmm.
He didn't even play, and they still ended up 2-1 and a 4-1 aggregate. So whenever you can rest your best player
Yeah,
and come out with a result, that just shows that it's a good team.
they're that confident, huh?
Yep.
That's why I'm saying they're one of the teams that I feel is dangerous, just with their defense. I think before this they only allowed one goal in Champions so far, so um, they're they're a great team for sure. What about you? What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, they're starting to look like that Inter that was in the final against City. And I
Hmm.
mean, you never know. This might be their year. I don't think so. I think they're not a team to take lightly, but I think there's just stronger teams that I see progress to the final. But there'll be someone that you don't want to play in the quarterfinal, or if they pass in the semis, you don't want to play against them because if les toca like cerrar en casa, like they'll be that team that'll defend till they die, and I'll always take an Italian team to defend
Yeah,
the score.
and for them, they have the quality to still score on the counterattack. They have quality mids and everything. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're a solid team. The best game of the night was PSG versus Liverpool. Wow,
yeah,
what do you guys? That was awesome.
that was
Bro,
awesome,
I
dude.
was
Yeah,
telling
Midfield is amazing.
I was telling Eric in the last episode too that just Dembele, dude, MVP so
yeah,
far. I'm gonna preach on him.
yep,
I'm gonna praise him. He's the one that like right now
yeah.
is like on fire too.
Yeah, literally, he's that whole game was so back and forth. Like I can't believe the score was 1-0. Like there was so many opportunities. Like man, that one was like one of the best games I've seen in a minute.
Hey, if I'm not mistaken, Fabian, weren't you the one that said like it was gonna be like low scoring, and then me and Rob like laughed? We're like, "There's
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah,
way."
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think yep.
yeah,
No, I
we got
did.
it. Yeah, that was solid. I mean, Liverpool's defense, and then they got down to the penalties. Woo!
Yeah.
Penalties was crazy.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think like in terms for like Liverpool, like expectation, just I would put it as un fracaso to be eliminated that early.
Oh,
Like even though PSG like they're not an easy team, but still like Liverpool undefeated, they're first in Champions League, first in Premier League.
hmm
Like they seemed like no one was gonna take them out up until maybe the semis or the final. So to me, it's un fracaso.
man,
Eric,
that heartbreak continued, huh? It led on to
Yeah.
this next week. But yeah, what were you saying, Fabian?
Eric, like, weren't you saying too that like one of the hardest places to play to was at Anfield?
Yeah, like
And look,
it's PSG. Like I mean, it was PK, so once it's PK, it's
Mm,
always a toss up.
bro,
But
it's
still, the
still
way PSG
stressful.
played there,
yeah.
like the fans and ambiente there, it's like one of the toughest in the world.
Yeah,
Mm,
so props to them. I think PSG will face Aston Villa now.
yeah, that's gonna be a good one to talk about down the
It
road.
is.
But
Yeah,
I like I've said, PSG's attack is solid, man. They have so much speed, and then the control the mids. I
That
feel like
midfield
they're
that Luis Enrique has built is honestly like it's not a lot
bro.
of players that like maybe at the top of your head you would know their names off the bat because it's like young and
Yeah,
it's got a mix of young and like old at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But
hundred
like that,
percent.
they find such a good balance and they compete with any midfielder in any midfield in the world.
Yeah, they're
Exactly.
gritty. They're like a
Yeah,
gritty little small guy. They're all little small guys, but
yeah.
they're like the architects of the field.
So
I would say.
Hmm.
sometimes it's those players that you don't really know that are not big players, but they're under the radar, but just they keep playing. They keep playing good, keep playing good. Like
Yeah,
I was telling Eric, Fabian Ruiz was in there. And I was like, man, his level has gone up.
yeah. Even last
And
year, he was good scoring for him for a while.
Yeah.
so
But yeah, that was the oh man, the fact that we can't go into it more. There was so many opportunities. But yeah, that
it's
was
like
a good.
crazy.
That's why we love Champions League, right?
Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. So next matchups were on Wednesday. We
Hmm.
had Dortmund versus Lille was the first game. That one started off with David scoring early at home. You know they had feeling confident. You would say, um, but then they lost. They ended up Dortmund came up.
Yeah.
I
Did you guys watch
saw
it?
most of this game too, and I want to give props to their captain Emir Khan.
Hmm.
He's the one that scored for them too. I think he scored the second one or the first. I don't remember. But anyways, he the whole game though he just freaking like held his team, controlled, passed, knew when to attack, knew when to defend, calmed down. Because at the end of the game, if you guys saw a little bit, Lille was putting the pressure on. They
Hmm.
even their goalie was like all the way at the half, just sending balls, trying to get something. And Dortmund held on good. Their defense held on, so I liked how they played at the end.
Yeah, they gave up a penalty just to start off, like ruins it, like to start off your second half. But what do you think, Eric? I know well, Dortmund's facing Barca next, so
Yeah, I mean it was a good game, but like I had said, I think in the a few episodes ago, I think these two teams were kind of like them and I don't know. I still put Villa on top of these two because I think
hmm
Villa's like low key like the dark horse right now. They're playing
yeah,
so good. But
well,
I always thought going into this game like Lille and Dortmund, whoever was gonna win that game, I think they were gonna be like that weak link in the next round.
that's a good one. I mean, I could see that with they're underperforming, I guess. But for me, like you say, Dortmund, you never want to underestimate in the Champions League. They always are a tournament team, and
Yep.
that's we'll see. But I wouldn't take them lightly. The one that we were, I think, the Arsenal versus PSV was over first leg.
That one's crazy. I wish, Eric, you didn't know like what the bet was for this one.
No,
Because my guess would have been like plus 800 or something like that. You
probably.
had you had to bet $800 to win $100 because freaking they were up like seven. What was the first leg? 7-1,
Yeah,
Hmm.
dude. And then Sinchenko scored in like the 6th minute. That goal, very nice, left footed.
Hmm.
Loved it, loved it. But by when they scored that goal, dude, I was like, it's over already. Six
yeah,
minutes, ya se acabó esta
yeah.
madre.
Get ready for Madrid. They were already getting ready for Madrid or whoever the Madrid derby was coming out of.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one was. We didn't even have to pay attention to that one.
And
Uh,
before this game, Arsenal, like me and Eric were talking about it, Arsenal played Manchester United too, and they played pretty good in that game too. So that's why looking at this game too, I was like, Arsenal's playing okay right now.
mm,
They should come out with the result, and they did, and they
yeah,
did.
Yep.
that was solid. And then Aston Villa versus Bruges. Like Eric was saying, they're a hot team right now with the signings they made with Asensio. He's been dominant both games. He scored, I think, both games. So
What'd you think, Eric, of this one?
Yeah, I thought, like I said, I had predicted that Villa was kind of gonna get it como un segundo aire with those new signings.
hmm
Asensio, Rashford, like they just bolstered up those wing positions up to the point where like they're almost interchangeable. So like they
yeah,
play like it's a 4-2-3-1. So like those three guys in front of the two midfielders, they're all like so like talented enough that like if Rashford wants to tuck in, then Asensio can go out to the left and vice versa. So when you have that flexibility, it's so hard as the playing team to be like, who do I pick up if he's not staying in his position? Like who do I track? So the fact that they can do that, I mean, that's gonna put any team on their heels.
Yeah, what do you think, Fabian?
Crazy stat in this one. I didn't watch too much of this one. I think I just saw the highlights of this one,
Hmm.
but I looked into it and Villa killed Bruges, dude. They had 14 shots on target and 10 on goal compared to Bruges' 4 shots on target and only 1 on goal.
Yeah,
Damn.
So just knowing that, dude, like Villa played they were at home too. They just controlled it, bro. Asensio
yeah.
2 goals. They were already up um, by like 3 goals, so the aggregate ended up being 6-1. And what going off of Eric's point, when a team can do their players like move around so much without talking to each other, it's the chemistry that they have.
Well,
Whereas,
they barely joined in. For me, it's just I think the system with the spacing that they're having, like you said, and with Asensio, he's always been dangerous outside the box. Like for his shot
exactly.
when he was at Madrid, that's where he would come in quick scores. So like the spacing they're getting, maybe it's working.
Well, me and Eric know that chemistry is not taught. It's
Hmm.
just the chemistry is just shown. So for them to come in this early, like you said, pick up players so fast and start already moving around like that,
Yeah,
They're
hella
just like
dangerous and
gritty,
good
like
for the team.
they're one of those like gritty ass teams that like at the same time has like a dangerous attack because most of the time like there's those gritty teams that are like gonna get a result out, but their attack lacks, and Aston Villa seems to have both.
I mean who they have at goalkeeper too, right?
Yep.
Oh hell
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
Hell
el
yeah.
argentino.
yeah, dude, he's something else. I'll give him his props, man. He's a good goalkeeper, and then they have everything else in front of him. Hey, give it up to them. So they're a good team. Next matchup will be good. Um, the matchup of the night.
That's
Uh,
right.
the matchup of the night.
We our
The
group chat
Atletico
went
versus
off on this one.
Real
Our group
Madrid.
chat.
Man, Atletico coming in first 30 seconds, scoring. Man, they put making me get gray hairs this game for sure. Well, Eric, I mean, I don't know if you want to start. I know where Madridistas, so you from a unbiased opinion, let us know what happened. What do you think?
Oh no, I'm not biased. I'm looking at two guys who are biased, but I mean, outside of the controversy that we'll get to, it was an awesome game. Um, Atletico came out like they should. They put Madrid on their heels, and for a while Madrid was just kind of taking the heat, and Atletico took advantage. Atletico looked so freaking good, dude. Like that's the Atletico that I remember seeing that was like getting to the finals, that lost a few to them to Real. Like they looked freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well, I would say by Madrid not like getting that 3-1 where I think in the first game Mbappe missed that to make it a 3-1 game, that would have
Right.
like allowed it because then it allowed once Atletico scores early, they sit on their low block where they're okay and then coming at how they want to tactically like they're always been. So, um, I know with Madrid they had a few opportunities with Vinny missing the penalty. Man, that was so he choked up so bad on that one.
One of the guys in our group chat was wondering like why Mape didn't take that PK, and I told him I was like I think Vinny took the ball away from Mape. Mape had the ball like he was gonna take the PK,
Hmm.
and Vinny like a lo mejor le dijo algo like
Yeah.
si no me das esta pelota te
Hey,
voy a
güey,
partir.
ese es para mi balón de oro que me quitaron, hey.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Let me build my case, fool.
Oh
You know,
man, players
but
like that, and then for him to miss it, it's like, oh, hijo de tu chingada.
literally, like I was like, all right, this gives me a little thing to breathe, y luego para que haga esa
No, but
madre.
he didn't just miss it. Like he fucking whiffed it. Like it was
Yep,
horrible. It was like
Hey,
yep,
almost when
yep,
he shot out of the stadium. Horrible.
yep. So if I was my pay, I'll be like, nah, I'm not letting you do that again, bro.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm
Mbappe.
not. I've always hated that. Like, what do you call it? It's not a rule, but like, where if you get fouled in, that they shouldn't take it because it's bad luck. I've never believed in that shit.
Ah,
Yeah,
no,
I've heard of that.
And I
Mbappe's a
hate when
good
players
penalty
apply
taker.
it. Like Mbappe, if I was Mbappe, I got fouled. I'm taking that shit. Like I got fouled. It's my PK.
Unless your leg is broken,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you can't.
exactly.
Yeah.
So for and then how it ended into into penalties. with that controversy,
I
which
love
is
how
not
there's always
controversy to some.
controversy when Madrid wins a game. Like you always, whenever they win, you always got to mention the word controversy. Isn't
But
that
is
ironic?
it really? Was it really though? Eric, you're a soccer player, like you said. There's rules that you need to follow, right?
Right, but
What do
then
you
they should
think
be
about that?
applied consistently with every single team at every single moment.
There was another handball in that game, or even two that you could call that weren't called because, and you said it was a natural movement, but it's still I've seen it been called in plenty of games early on where there was Simeone had his hand out and it hit his hand right, and then there and then at that point it's inconsistent. You're not getting it the same way, right? But it ended up working.
I've always said, Rob, though, that that's 50-50. That's the ref's discretion, where
Hmm.
50% of refs would call it, 50% of refs won't call it. And knowing the rule, too, like the FIFA ref rule is
Hmm.
like they'll leave it to the ref. That's why. So those kind of plays,
Yeah.
like, it's fine. But when it's a rule like the PK that was a double touch, that has to be applied.
Hey,
It has
West
to
But it
be
Gate.
should be
applied.
¿Qué
applied
más?
consistently.
I know it should have been called in some other situations, and it has been. There was another
Because
cup,
you
I
know
think
for a
that
fact
was in
Mbappe
2000.
taking a PK and he does that, they're not even replaying it. They're not even putting it on the screen up
Uh,
in the
Don't
Bernabeu.
be
They're not
playing what
reviewing
ifs.
that.
Don't. Hey, we're not in a what
Nah,
if scenario.
it's
We had,
happened.
but Eric, this is not a what if. This actually happened, and it is what it is. We got the rule. You
You
got
know
it
what?
done.
We'll remember this. So if Maped does do it in the future,
Mbappe, you got to say his name right. If Christina, if you're gonna say my wife's name, you're gonna say it right. Mbappe.
we'll remember this though. We'll
Yeah.
remember it.
Hey, the controversy might be in the next round too, so just keep an eye out for Arsenal.
One more thing I wanted to say, Rob, too, is that I feel
Yeah.
like Real Madrid needed a game like this too to
Yeah.
get that pressure from another team to feel like they were kind of close to losing, and
Hmm.
it
You
it
mean like
also
win another game they didn't deserve to win?
nah.
They,
They
I,
played good. They played good.
Atletico was. I mean, there was two solid teams again. It's like you see it differently, but because there was that controversy. But same thing with the PSG Liverpool. Like there was two great teams going to be playing. Someone's going to have to lose. Is the only thing. So
It had to. Real needed
it
this.
just maybe God's a fucking Madrid fan. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Because who are they playing next?
They're
Arsenal.
playing Arsenal. So we'll talk
There we
about those
go.
next. Yeah, we'll talk
Yeah.
about those at some point about the next week, the next matchups. But
Yep. Yep. It's
do you guys
just
have a little rankings maybe on who your top like three favorites are, or who you think maybe has the most chance to win it?
go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I would say my top three, not in any order, is going to be Inter, um, Madrid, and then PSG. I mean that's I like their attack.
hmm
If they beat
For
Madrid, they would have to beat Madrid, right? So it would be from that side.
my
That's my
top, my top three will be Real, Inter, and Bayern because I feel like Bayern is starting to wake up. Like I said, so
Y'all are talking
of all the
crazy.
teams, we'll see. We'll see.
Y'all
What
are
are
talking
yours?
crazy leaving one team out. Y'all are
Who?
insane. All right,
I
this
just
is my top three and in order. First, the
Uh,
hottest team in Europe,
oh,
Barca, is the favorites. Yeah,
yeah,
Fabian, duck your head because you know you missed that.
I'm all
Um,
right missing it.
After Barca, I'd say PSG, and then third, depending on Real Madrid, Arsenal, whoever wins from that is my favorite. After that, but
Okay.
Barca for sure is one because they're the hottest team in Europe.
they are.
It's
I'll
all
give
good.
them
Hey,
that.
it's
I'll
all
give
you need
them
to
that.
get your Barca jersey already. But we
You need to
none of
get your
us.
jersey that says facts only because you
Uh,
won't be saying any.
yeah, I don't know about you either. We could come out. You got fake news written all over you, bud. We got fake news.
Maybe in the future, some fan will send Eric a Barca jersey or something.
I mean, he's definitely meat rides him. But I know none of us mentioned Bayern. Bayern, we'll see how they do. But it's just we get so much of them all the time that they're gonna mess it up.
That's the only fear for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So going into, I know we could. There was Europa League, but we can maybe, if you guys want to, maybe even touch on that. There was some pretty interesting games with your Man U. Since I don't, you want to start talking about your boys.
Yeah, I mean it's the only game that really mattered. I mean I didn't watch any other one because I didn't care for them because Man
Hmm.
U is going to win this cup. So
Well, hey,
They beat Real Sociedad, right?
Real Sociedad, and we beat them playing good. We didn't beat them by like a fluke or anything. Like Man U came in,
Yeah.
and we're on some good form right now.
good.
Well, not just good form. We have a fucking player on our team that's like playing his ass off too.
Yeah,
Yeah, they need to build Bruno a statue and rename the city of Manchester to Bruno.
yeah. He's for sure handles.
I
Uh,
if I looked up a stat for him, I think he was kind of like in the same Barca stat that I said earlier, where in the past like 6 or 7 games, he has scored like in almost every single game except for 1 or 2. But in some of those games where it was like a 3-2 or a 2-1 that he scored, if it wasn't for him, dude, we wouldn't be winning some of these games.
Oh yeah, he's had I think 27 or 28 like involvements in either a goal or an assist this season.
yeah,
Exactly.
So
he's your offense for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, the other game that was interesting, we can just touch up, but we don't really need to follow since I just wanted to give you a space for Man U to talk about them, But
appreciate that,
at,
Rob.
yeah, no worries, bro. Hey, I know both of you guys. I got to give you guys both space to, give you guys some props because I'm not a hater of Man U. Hey, we want to see them at their tip top, the best shape. So that's good for them. I know the game that was probably the I was interested in because I like some of these teams, but Athletic Club and Roma, that one, oh man, that was a good game. I know Hummel's got a last man challenge, a red card. He got a early on too, so it gave Athletic Club just a way to come back and just end up with the win on that. So, I mean, that was the other game that I would just have really kind of brushed up on.
It's That's crazy that they beat Roma. Roma has always been known to have good players. I think Dybala's still playing with them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Supposedly, this is rumors. Sometimes we keep on rumors, but if since Griezmann is leaving Atletico, that Dybala is the player that they want. So imagine they just get all these Argentinians. They got Rodrigo de Paul, Julian Alvarez, and Dybala. That'd
Dybala,
be. I mean, Atletico is definitely dangerous team.
and
But I heard about that rumor.
they have Simeone, their coach, and the player Simeone, the player. So it'll be freaking mini Argentina.
Yeah, literally. So,
No, no,
but yeah,
no.
that'd be interesting. But that was basically, I know Europa is kind of just giving you guys another cup to add to your guys' trophy case, I
Let's
guess.
hope. Let's hope. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, like me and Eric are gonna keep tabs on it for sure.
yeah.
I'll keep tabs. We'll root together, but I'm kind of going for a Athletic Club on this one. That'll be my team. I'll go for.
Oh, well, they're out,
Sauce.
Rob.
Huh?
They're out.
Athletic Club?
Yeah, well, Roma beat them.
No.
No,
No, Athletic Club won 4-3 on aggregate. That's why I said that
but the
Roma
Roma
got the.
game ended 2-1, right?
No, they were ahead on aggregate or something. No, they actually ended up winning that game. Let me look it up for us. But um,
The
but
first
no,
leg.
no, the
No.
second
This
leg,
was the
the
second.
second game was the one that they got the red card, and Athletic Club won 3-1.
Oh,
Global
I must have
4.
walked out when the score was different. Then this whole
Yeah,
time I thought Roma had passed.
no, they definitely didn't pass. That's what I'm saying. Athletic Club they ended up winning 3-1 with that red
Yeah.
card early
They're,
on.
they're the Chivas of España.
They give them some props. So we'll go over Premier League to give you guys a little bit of to talk about your squad. You guys, pulled off another win
Who did we play
against
in that one? Leicester.
yeah
Leicester
Leicester.
won three
Leicester.
Leicester
zero.
3-0. And this one finally felt, I don't know what you thought, Eric, but finally felt like we were playing like how we're supposed to be playing.
Yeah, I feel like the team was clicking, but again, he's clicking with what he's got. I still think we still have a lot of injuries, and he's gonna need to bring in some players that to his liking. But it was a good game in terms of like Hoyland finally scores, gets out of that drought.
Ramses,
I
yes.
think he had like I don't know the exact stat, but I think it was more than 10 games for sure that he hadn't had a goal like in a row.
I don't like him as a forward, dude. I don't. And in this scenario, I know you guys were talking about Giroud in the last episode. I
Hmm.
was like, I would almost prefer Giroud over Ramses right now.
No, I think he's just
Hoyland, huh?
yeah. He works so hard,
But
man. Like
he did a
he
decent. He had a
defends and
good game,
runs and
right? He
everything.
had a good game in this last one.
Yeah. Well, he scored. He broke his
Yeah,
drought. So,
yeah,
um, but yeah, like I said, Bruno Fernandez had another goal. Garnacho,
Finally, Garnach.
Bruno assisted Hoyland. So we're on some good form. The last 4 games in the Premier League, we've gotten 8 out of 12 points. So we're
Hey,
starting to creep back into that top 10, and we're starting to
God,
get some good form. But again, we just keep dealing with injuries, and we're missing so many players that we're just scraping by. But
yeah.
it's good to see something good coming out of all this
I,
negativity going
I
on in
hate
the
I
league.
hate looking at the table though, dude. I don't like seeing Man United in 13th place right now.
no,
I know,
I
right?
think they're in 10th, no, but I think or wherever they're at. But I
Mhm.
know that they, if they want their coach to keep their job, they have to, as a team, help. If they really like him, they gotta get these wins, these results for sure. They
Yeah.
gotta keep it up.
Yeah, but next three games are going to be tough. We got Nottingham Forest, who's fighting in that
Mm.
top three spot.
Hmm.
Then we got the Manchester Derby, and then we got Newcastle coming off, winning against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup.
Let's
Uh,
talk about that one a little bit. Did you see a little bit of that one, Rob? The Liverpool Newcastle?
no, I didn't get a chance to, but I know that there was some history on that one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't even know that was the final.
Is it the Carabao Cup, Eric,
Yeah,
that it was in? Yeah, no, and I did watch the second half of that game too, where Liverpool again like throwing the whole sink at Newcastle and Newcastle holding on for their lives, and you can see the fans too. They were like, "Please, please,
At
please."
home, huh? In
No, it was at the one. No, it was at one of the stadiums where it's
oh,
neutral. I forget what it's
neutral.
called.
Wembley.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good for sure. Newcastle's had a disappointing season, and they have a good ass Isak.
Yeah,
If he's not going to stay at Newcastle, um, he's going to go to another got a lot of big teams are looking into him. So
yeah,
he's a really good striker. He's probably the top three striker in the world right now.
For
yeah.
sure. Yeah, but other games in the Premier League, City tied Brighton 2-2. Eric's been talking about Brighton a little bit too, that they're a good, decent team. So to tie City 2-2 is not easy.
Top of the
Um,
table clash, Arsenal Chelsea.
yep.
So
Arsenal beat Chelsea, right? 1-0.
Yeah, I
yeah,
watched that game. Arsenal looked really good. Like, they're not going to do anything to challenge Liverpool, but this is just going to help them in terms of preparing for that Real Madrid game.
yeah.
Yep.
We'll see. I know that right now there's that international break, so there's hopefully they lose some of that
For sure.
chemistry.
Keep in mind what you just said right now, because I have something to say about that in later in the episode. That international break. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that later. Just
Uh,
wanted to take a
More
tab on that.
controversy
More
at
controversy.
work.
Some
I'll get
some
thrown out if you're a
mamadas.
Real Madrid fan.
oh, oh, you're gonna have to tell us. You're
Controversy.
gonna have to tell us.
Let's see when we
Or
get there. When we get
juicy
there.
scoops, juicy scoops. We
Yeah.
can go into La Liga. We can go into that one. I know
The
Saturday we had Madrid against Villarreal, which is one of the top teams. Both of them were top teams, so that was a good clash.
two
You know,
goals by our guy.
Villarreal came up and putting it on. I mean, realistically, Madrid looked kind of sluggish and the same thing, and then what's it called? Villarreal was dominant. Like I'm surprised we pulled off all 3 points on that game.
Why do you think they looked a little bit sluggish? Eric has something to say about that. Maybe they didn't get enough rest.
Oh,
Hmm? What did
is that what the best team in the world complains about? We didn't get enough rest.
I guess that's they have certain rules or whatever that they were trying to follow again.
you know?
Why
If
don't they
if you're a
send some of their
coach,
players over to the Prem so they can play 3 4 times a week and see how they feel?
I think if you're a coach that has the credentials like Ancelotti,
hmm
I would trust him, his word when he says something like, maybe I should, rest my players. We should
He
be able to.
he was just standing up for his guys, which that's where you gotta. He knows how to work the system. Like you said, he knows when to go for his guys or when to call one out. So at this point, that was a good game, man. For Villarreal, like I mentioned, they were started off good with the lead early, and then Mbappe had some. He just showed his quality and why he's one of the best
Oh,
strikers.
also, it's going off of what you just said right now, Rob. Mbappe got to 20 goals for the season. Do you know
hmm
where that puts him
What is he? He's not
in
the
the
lead, is he?
table?
Is he
No, Lewandowski's in first with
22?
22,
Yeah.
and Mbappe in second with 20, and then the third place guys has like 15 goals. So
Mm.
I think it's gonna come between one of those two at the end.
He's finding his form for sure right now. He's already had a hat trick recently, so he's starting like even the way that he drew the penalty. So he's in really good form.
He seems
Glad that
to.
he's
He looks
getting
like he's
some.
getting a lot of rest to be scoring that many goals.
Yep.
I mean, he
It's
played
the
all
color.
120 minutes, bruh. So
Yeah, he doesn't seem tired.
That's what it is to be young.
a Ninja Turtle. That's right.
With yeah.
He's got
So
the.
now standings. Tell us about the standings now, Rob. Where we're at.
I mean, right now we're still tied with Barca, but Barca has the goal lead and they have a game less that they haven't played, so they're holding first. We're they're playing solid, like Eric's mentioned. So we'll give them that they did pull off this. We'll go into Sunday's game, but the table's still Barca, Madrid, Atletico, and Athletic Club.
Atletico. With I think 11 games left still in the season.
Yep.
I think it was that.
The other game like Sunday game was the one I in our group chat. I put my foot in my mouth. I was on a flight. So Barca versus Atletico, or yeah, Atletico, and tell us about that, Eric.
Just to mention before we get into that, because it has to do with the title race. Last week, Atletico did slip up against Getafe, so that was a big, it was one of those games where I had mentioned like if one of these teams slips up against one of those teams that they shouldn't slip up against,
Hmm.
it could affect them for this game that was like the one that mattered the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, going into it, it was a game that started off where Atletico just gave you that feeling like they're gonna get this win, and because they were dominating up
Hmm.
into like that 70th minute when they scored that second goal, and then like 2 seconds later, a minute, boom, Barca gets the goal. But that whole time, like, it was one of those games where you're like, damn, Atletico got this. Like Barca could not break them down
Exactly.
for 70 minutes plus.
Hmm.
They could not break them down.
Sometimes that's where the thing that I've seen with Atletico is like being so complacent on taking the pressure. Those like the Madrid figure them out at some points. Like Barca will figure them out. Like those teams will always figure them out. And it's like don't contest. Like come on, they had quality, and I think they even took Julian Alvarez, right?
Super early, man.
That
Super
was a
I'm like,
early.
controversy. That was a
I'm like,
controversy right there.
oh my God, why do you take? He was like the way that he's been playing, bro. Why would I don't ever want him off the field, bro?
You almost want
Exactly.
to think if the Argentinian Federation had something to do with that.
Oh, to
Uh,
give him rest.
Yeah,
it could have something to do with it.
Argentinian Federation with an
He played
Argentinian
120 minutes. You did play.
Simeone. They don't know if they slipped him a little message like, hey, he can only play 60 minutes or 55.
Yes, yeah, and you know what, Rob? We have heard this before in the past too, where the selecciones like send
Yeah,
messages to the teams.
I've heard about that too, but like as in who makes you the most money, that's the decision you make. I know it's an honor playing for your country and everything, but these games, what is it for a cup? I haven't brushed up on too much of the international break right now,
Mm.
but unless it's for like
It's
qualifiers or like for something insane
it
like that,
is.
um, and then if they're always at the top, and they're never really, Argentina's always gonna get in. Like I don't know what they're stressed about. Like
Yeah, exactly.
li-
But
literally, Atletico
The
needs to
it was an
focus.
all-time meltdown though. Like it's one of those like athletic games that it's going to be up there as one of the biggest meltdowns ever. Like to break down that quick for being on a team that doesn't break down because their whole
Hmm.
character and identity is built off we're gonna die on the field and we're not gonna get scored on. We're gonna defend, and then attack maybe, but we're always gonna defend and die with. We're gonna leave it all out there for them to break down like that. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that to me, the way they ended that game just kind of like settles it for me that they're kind of out of that title race. I think it's just a two team race now, honestly, because they just showed that weakness that I think they hadn't shown in a while,
Hmm.
and they showed a weakness where they can mentally break down in the moments when you can't mentally break down.
Yeah, I know last game they're against Getafe. That's a derby for them as well. So that's like tough because they had the lead early. They made it. We're trying to rest guys later, and then
mm,
they ended up coming back. So it's like you said, those slip ups where they're trying to like tinker these little things. They're not making the right decisions and when it
yeah.
matters.
How's that back
But J-
line look like, Rob, for Barca?
I was just gonna say that.
That back line is still like if you saw those two goals from Atletico. it's like once there's going to be teams that unlock that. I'm telling there's not it's,
Which teams?
I will say if PSG if Real Madrid
Real.
loses to if Real
Real.
Madrid
Real.
Real Madrid, we still don't want to forget about last year's 4-0s and all this other stuff, but um literally if you think about even if PSG does end up beating Real Madrid or whatever, PSG has the attack that I'll say that they will put it on. They will put it on them.
Well,
Yep.
Eric, didn't you see that like the first or second goal it happened from that side? I think what's his name in
Kunde.
that defender Kunde.
Hmm.
Same, beat him over the top. Was by himself. All they had to do was cross it, tap.
Well, yeah, but you
So
know what erases all that stuff is coming back and scoring four straight.
Yeah, they have the
yes,
offense. That's what I'm
You
saying.
know,
They have
coming
the
back and
offense.
putting up five on Real Madrid. The back line really isn't their weakness spot. More like the teams need to be worrying about their attack because they can all of a
yeah.
sudden flip it and just score 4 or 5 on you like it's nothing.
What have we
Yeah.
been taught, Eric? You and I that are the best defense is your offense.
Mm-hmm.
We've been taught that since we were little.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have the offense for sure, but Madrid, when they do have been playing against each other, I don't know how many times Mbappe's been offside, like 20 times each game. But we'll figure. Maybe one day he'll figure it out both the whole game.
Maybe there'll
But
be some controversy if we get a Real Madrid Barca final and all of a sudden Mbappe is onside 20 times.
Hey,
yup,
well,
yup.
it's the discretion of the ref at that point.
That's right. That's right.
So I mean that kind of. I don't know if you guys want. I don't really feel like we should get into Bundesliga. I know that there's two teams really race for that one, but
Yeah.
not. It's still a couple points. We want to get into some another sports because we all have a Thursday to break down some other stuff as well.
Yep. Yep.
Um, yeah. So we'll let Eric start off on the next one for NFL.
Yeah, free agency, man. It's been exciting.
Yeah. As far as your move, some of your favorite moves, I mean, so far, what have they been?
I mean, on a personal level for my team, I mean, obviously the signings we've made, I think, I don't know. And it's not just me saying it. I've seen a lot of analysts saying, but I think it's pretty clear Denver up to right now is probably one free agency, in terms of
Mm,
what we can get with the signings we have. Obviously, it's two players that have an injury history, but you don't want to go into signing a player thinking they're going to get hurt. If everything works out, I think we probably have had, in terms of like the amount of players and who we've signed and what we've covered. I think we've done the most. I think there's been other teams who maybe have made less moves that are more impactful, but I think in
mm.
terms of just free agency itself, I think Denver has probably been the team that's gotten better in this little period.
What about the Bears?
Yeah, well, I want to touch on what Eric's been. I know with what he's saying, and like I said, I've put them up on as one of the top five teams of so far in that's in free agency, maybe even top three for them. But they still have like hopefully with the draft, you guys will figure something out with maybe another receiver.
Yeah, and a running
I
back.
know with and a running back, that's something you guys definitely need. But your defense, it's you guys added
Oh,
to an already good defense. Uh,
exactly.
We'll see. I know that that is a team that has been making some moves for
Yeah,
in Colorado
I
for
think I'm
sure.
just saying as a whole. Like obviously, like you look at like the Rams, like with one signing, like it's already the impact of like they probably should be in the NFC Championship or Super Bowl. I
Yep.
Hmm.
think like as a whole, as a team, in terms of the amount of moves we've made, I think that's why we're kind of up there. But like obviously, the Rams are already a team who I think in other circumstances in terms of weather,
Respected around the league.
they probably beat the Eagles in that game in my opinion.
Hmm.
In terms of because I think the weather does have something to do with it in that
Yeah,
game. But you're
I
still
think
talking
that's where
about a
you want to
team who
be at
should
home.
have been in the Super Bowl. Maybe despite weather, we'll never know. But then you add Devontae Adams, and it's like
Hmm.
Yeah.
you're right back in the conversation.
Exactly.
Thanks for showing
Exactly.
love to my Rams.
Yeah,
I know my the Rams. That was one of my other top five of free agency. They did end up trading one of their offensive linemen, got a draft pick, but still signing Alaric Jackson. And then they ended up getting, like you said, Devontae Adams. They're always going to get moves in the draft. Like I always trust them in the draft as well. So from already having a solid team foundation,
yeah,
I'm excited as excited as
Well,
you are. We're
yeah.
already almost ready for
You
football,
know what's
bro. Like
crazy though
well,
is like they get rid of a Cooper Cup, but
yeah,
for some reason it feels like they got better releasing him and who they covered him with. You
yep.
think they got better? It didn't
yeah,
hurt them
They
in a
s-
sense.
they save
exactly.
money, and then I also heard that they're not done with moves yet. So
Hmm.
whatever they're gonna do, I hope they get protect. Matt Stafford at this point because with him the quarterback ability he has, he's one of the top quarterbacks that can make throws.
Yeah.
So
Well, at
I'm
least my
excited.
Hawks are going to make it a little bit challenging now
They're
for the
they're not in the
Rams.
top five. They're not even in the top five of
You
free
know what?
agency. But
It's okay. It's
I know
okay because
the Broncos. It's tough because I know Broncos have a tougher division. So I know that I'm not going to hate. They're a good team. They have a good squad. They make some good moves. We'll see what with that division is the only thing that Then you have to worry about the Madrid factor of the Chiefs and then
yep.
the Revs. So you guys
Thank
don't
you
have
for
a young.
admitting it finally.
I, it's not admitting. It's sometimes it's like when you're the champion and
No,
all
you
these.
said it. The Madrid effect. You said it.
I said the quotation marks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we put it on video.
Supposedly.
Supposedly, there's
Supposedly.
teams that like just end up getting certain things. But as far as that division's gonna be solid, you guys made it
Yes.
even tighter race. That if Mahomes, they're picking up the same guys that they just had, which I'm like. Juju Smith again. You got Kareem Hunt. Like those guys, you're like
Right.
banking on them having to sustain that little bit extra year when you guys are getting
Yeah.
like these youthful players. So the other two teams that we'll talk about, Fabian, what do you think? I know you mentioned the Bears earlier.
Well, no, well, let's stay on that division though that we were just in right now with the Broncos and the Chiefs because every team, the Raiders upgraded a little bit and the
Hmm.
It's a
Chargers
three-team
upgraded a little
division.
bit.
Yeah,
Who
that's
do
gonna
you
be
think is going
tough.
to be at the bottom? The Raiders?
The same team that's been there.
Damn. You know what? I wonder what our compa Gabi would say.
He'll come on He'll have something to say to Eric on Thursday. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Because
just think
with the
like it's ridiculous. They have the second most cap money, and they really haven't made any impactful moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
well, are
they
they
should
waiting?
have.
Are
They
they
should have. What do
waiting?
you mean? There's really nobody out there now. Like they're gonna get Aaron Rodgers or after literally
Like
like
the
that's
whole
all there
talk was
is.
like the amount of cap money they had to spend coming up to the draft. Maybe they find their franchise quarterback, build around him, and it's like all the top guys that they could have targeted. And it's like, dude, you had it. Like
They go
New
for
England
Gino.
had the number one amount of cap money, and they made so many
That's
moves.
right.
Like
That's
it
right.
wasn't a question. I think of players not wanting to go to Vegas. It's just like how aggressive were the Raiders going to be with the amount of money they had.
Yeah, there was some definitely players out there that they could have had some difference makers. Like just adding to Max Crosby. I know that they just used some money for him, but maybe if they could have got Mackay Becton, someone like offensive line help. Like so a lot of the guys the Eagles lost, and that's an interesting thing. Have lost a lot of guys this offseason too. So
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
That's where I'm excited as a Ram. Being on the NFC, you guys got to go through the AFC gauntlet, Eric. So
That's
that's where I don't
Yeah.
want to allow you
that's
guys. Like you guys have to go through way different quarterbacks. I know we have the young ones like Daniels and all that to worry about, but you guys have literally Josh Allen, Lamar, like literally.
Mahomes.
I didn't even say Joe Burrow. I don't think so.
Um,
Like
I'm,
I know you guys are got to go through a little bit more of a
I'm
challenge.
just saying that here's a little fantasy tip
Hmm.
for the future. I'm going to be looking at this division pretty thoroughly and considering picking up a lot of guys from some of these teams in the future for my
I'll
fantasy team.
I'll allow you to pick all you want. That.
So
Hey, take it. I have certain
just
divisions, certain teams I always like to go with.
yeah,
Um, I don't
but
want to
this
give up my
division,
stuff, but
but this division's looking good, dude. This division's looking good
we'll
this
give
year.
you guys
I have
tips
a
down the road.
prediction.
What's your
Dile.
prediction, Eric?
I predict that maybe there'll be one Raider player that will be drafted on our team. Outside of that, there's not going to be anyone who we're going to be picking up from the Raiders.
that's
Who's
a
that?
that's a that's a
Jacoby Myers,
100%.
Oh, okay, that's
Brock
not a bad pickup.
Bowers.
Brock
You
Bowers,
swear like
Brock
you.
Bowers.
But outside of that, that'll be about it. And that's if Gino's going to be able to sling it.
Yeah, bro. Well, yeah, he's gonna be a way more accurate quarterback, and Brock Bowers was already sick. But yeah, Brock Bowers. Maybe I'll have to. That's the only guy that I would actually consider.
Same.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
it. That's my only tip for the Cuz in the future.
yep. That's a good little division. Good little tip.
Yeah. But I think for our fantasy cut group, like all our teams that we go for, like
Hmm.
everyone except for the Raiders has made some pretty exciting moves that we're all looking forward to. I know Seattle's excited as fuck with that Sam Darnold and Cooper Cup. So
Cooper Cup, Jackson Smith. Now we're still gonna have Ken Walker. We got one offensive line guy. I forget his name, but we got a few defensive guys too that are gonna make our defense a little bit better than last year. Our coach McDonald is very defensive minded too, so I expect that's what I'm saying. That when we play the Rams against their offense, against our defense, I'm excited to see that for sure.
I mean, I really don't think. I mean, I'll give you guys. I don't want to be too hard on the Seahawks, but I like you guys are excited about Aaron. Like you guys have to give yourself something to be excited about with. I guess Sam Darnold, and I know Cooper Cup. I got a lot of respect for him being from
Mhm.
the Rams, but unfortunate. Hopefully, he does stay healthy for the whole year.
Yeah, that's the
Because if
thing.
he is, then you guys got a hell of a receiver. That's just what I think the Rams were trying to get away from a little bit. And
Yep.
then Devontae Adams is that extra same type of receiver, like solid receiver. But
Yep.
I still don't like the Seahawks are the second best in that division in my
Yeah.
opinion, and then the Rams will
Because
be
San
number
Fran
one.
lost a lot of guys.
Yep.
San Fran lost a lot of guys. The Cardinals, I think, picked up like one or two decent guys. So same.
Yeah, they'll be okay. I think the Cardinals will be fighting with the Seahawks for that.
Second for
Yeah,
like
because
second,
the Cardinals always give the Rams a hard time, and then the Rams always beat the Seahawks. So it's like,
which is
and then
crazy.
yeah,
I'm just excited to see the Devontae and Puka, dude. Like honestly, I think
ooh,
I don't even know if this is a hot take or not, but I'd take those two over the Jamar Chase T Higgins pair.
No way. That is a
ooh.
hot take. What?
What, bro? Are you kidding me?
Jamar
Devontae Adams,
Chase?
Jamar
Devontae
Chase is number one.
Puka.
Jamar Chase is number one. Like, okay, Jamar Chase is that level, that dog. But Devontae Adams was that guy literally like 2 years ago. So and he was that guy for 5 years before that.
Yeah.
So it's like you're talking
And not
about
to
him and
mention, he
Puka.
hasn't had anyone at the
It's a
caliber of
hot
Stafford
take.
in a while throwing it at him.
It's not that hot of a take. They're probably the one of the best
It's a
tandems
hot take
behind
I
the.
don't know.
because
That's what I'm saying. Because I think Jamar and Devontae, you could battle it out there. I'd still trust Devontae with like a quarterback like Stafford. Like if
yeah,
you're
Mhm.
telling me Devontae, we're gonna get this year's of Devontae with Stafford, I'd probably take him over Jamar. And then in terms
that's
of T
crazy to me.
Higgins straight up against Puka, I like Puka.
The only thing is Puka's health too. Puka could get hurt again. His knee's not, 100%, 100%.
Hey, what's his name? He just got his money, Jamar Chase. So who knows? He
Mm-hmm.
might take
Both
it
of them,
easy
T
now that he
Higgins
got the.
too.
And T
Oh yeah,
Higgins too.
and T Higgins always gonna miss a couple games. So
Yeah, I had
they
that for
got their
too.
money. Maybe they're gonna, maybe they get married. They take it easy or something
Yeah.
too now. So we'll see.
Any news on the Steelers that you guys have found out? Do you know if because I think the last thing I saw that Russell Wilson is most likely leaving the Steelers.
Well, that's probably a good thing for him. I know they've been talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
It's either between him or he's gonna follow the Brett Favre timeline and go to the Vikings. It's either them or the
that's
Vikings. I see.
crazy.
Imagine then he
The
just has to
Giants are
send
in
it.
there too.
The Giants I saw.
Yeah, the Giants with maybe Malik Neighbors, I guess they have a good. But I would say that if he joins the Vikings, we'll see. I think the Vikings would just be in a better position than last year
Yeah.
with
And
For
in
Sam.
him,
Pittsburgh with that DK Metcalf, like it's like I could
Oh,
see Aaron
true.
Rodgers having a good season there too. I think Aaron Rodgers would probably prefer that Vikings division over
So he can get
that
revenge,
Steelers
huh?
division. Yeah.
could, yeah.
Yeah, he wants the revenge. He's one of those guys
Yeah.
that might keeps those things in the back of his head. So,
That's
but
funny.
I know Fabian, you brought up the Bears. I know they were one of my top teams of the off season. So.
Well, we expect the offensive line to protect Caleb Williams with all these moves that they've been doing. So I expect to see that better, and so that like Eric touched on it in the last episode too, where he's not going to be under pressure as much. So that's what I'm expecting out of the Bears. Um, I don't. They still have Roma Dunze. They haven't said anything about the
Allen.
other one. Keenan Allen. They haven't said anything yet, so they might retain him. So it's looking like an upgrade for sure right there for that team.
Yeah. Definitely with that head coach Ben Johnson too. I mean, I think we expect him to click.
Well, yeah. After how many times did Caleb Williams get sacked last year? And now he has some protection, and they get rid of Keenan. If they make another move for another receiver,
Mhm.
yeah, they're going to be a decent squad as well next year. But
Yeah.
the Commanders, oh man, they made some solid moves. They got the offensive lineman help, that Jaden Daniels to protect their franchise.
Also.
I think they're one of the winners of free agency as well.
For
Mm-hmm.
sure, for sure.
Yeah,
Eric touched on them a little bit too, where he said Debo Samuel's getting an upgrade. Where I'm a little more skeptical, where I'm like, I
yeah,
don't know if Debo Samuel's actually going to do better over here. I'm going to wait and see. Like, I wouldn't draft Debo onto my fantasy team unless he fell to me in like the 10th, 11th round. Then maybe I'll think about taking Debo, but
yeah. No, he burned me once. Once they like certain players they burned me. I try to I try to keep him off my list. So
Yeah, I
he
have
burned me.
Jalen Waddle on my blacklist forever.
I think I think he's on my two because I had him in two leagues
That
this
was
year and
so fucking stupid. I drafted him,
yeah,
and I think I had him consistently for like 10, 12 weeks, and I dropped him. Rob picks him up, and he goes off for the other half of the season.
I hate that when that happens.
oh man, yeah. Hey, well, thank you. All the moves I made, you guys, it was just boo perfect. I wasn't
Rob
even
was like,
keep giving them to me, guys. Keep yeah, you know. And for Eric, he was trying to trade rape his cousins. He likes to take advantage of his cousins like that.
Oh,
man,
yeah,
in the future, we're gonna have an episode, I think, of what happened in last season's fantasy
We're gonna reveal
league
texts. We're gonna reveal screenshots,
because
whatever you guys
there's
need.
some shit that happened in this, league
Yeah,
of ours.
we started a clique and the veto club, but we won't get into that right now. But I know
Yep.
the free agency that it's been for us. I guess Fabian's
Here's one.
pumped up for his team. I think we're all excited for our teams next year.
What do we
And
got looking forward to now? The NFL draft's coming up soon, isn't it?
yeah,
So we're gonna find out a lot too, because
yeah,
like I
that
said,
changes the landscape.
My Seahawks have like 10 picks in this draft.
I think I saw a
Nice.
stat that this is like the first draft. I don't know if it was ever in the last. I don't know how many drafts that
Mhm.
every team has kept their first round pick. So like, there's not
Oh,
team picking
gotcha.
twice in the first round. Like every team, so they don't know if it's because there's a lot of talent or there's not enough talent that people don't want to trade. Like they don't want other people's first round picks. But that's what
That's right.
I saw that stat today.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, let's see, the Rams got 26 picks, so hopefully, yeah, they handle something solid. Denver 20th. I don't think that they're gonna get the Gentry like you want. I've heard that Chicago really likes him and a couple other squads, so um, we'll
Yeah, no,
see.
we'd have to. I think we'd have to trade up to get him, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
Yeah, so that's what we got looking forward to in this NFL news.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
some good stuff to look into. You want to lead us to the next thing?
So yeah, our next segment that we've been also trying to stay a little consistent on is the MLB, where we dive into two divisions, and today we're gonna dive into the AL West and the NL West. Right? Which one do you
hmm
want to start with, Rob?
We could start on the ALS because, but ALS, as far as for the teams that I feel that are solid or they always have been maintained it, was the Astros. Even though they're like the team I hate the most.
I think
Uh,
everyone hates the Astros, bro.
yeah, no, 100%. They're not someone I want to give praise to. So I'll shout out some other teams that actually I felt that did some pretty good moves. I think even though the Angels, low key, they don't have enough. But I just want Mike Trout to end up doing something for his career, So they had some moves that there's still good plug-in pieces
Yep.
that maybe they'll be decent. But the team that I feel for you guys as Seattle fans, Mariners are disappointment of the offseason. The way that they even had a player, Justin Turner, and Justin Turner is like, if you know him and you followed him, he's
Mhm.
like a class act. He is like definitely like a clubhouse guy. He's a leader, and for him, he played in Seattle. He got
Yeah,
traded to him this offseason, and he called him out. I don't know if you saw that, Fabian.
I didn't. What did he say?
So he was saying, if the Mariners literally they have one of the best pitching staffs, like they're better than the Dodgers, they say,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And for them not to make moves like to make a move for a couple bats or someone that's impactful like that,
yep,
go get Vladdy Jr. Go get someone like that, like even
yep.
Arenado. Like they're that team that I feel like if they have that offense, they're the teams that will make it into the deep runs in playoffs.
That's what I wrote down in my notes because their hitting has been underperforming for the past few seasons. And I
Yeah,
feel that's the missing piece, like you just said, that if we can get some hitters that are consistent, even not even great, just consistent players that can hit, because that is like the missing piece for the Mariners that could be up there. I still don't think that they will win this division, even though that's my team. I feel like the Rangers have a little bit better
some healthy.
chance.
Yeah, they're getting healthy this year.
I saw that they added Jack Peterson, Jake Berger, and their bullpen. They got a lot of guys in their bullpen this year too.
They have a good manager too. But for me, it was funny when I went to the game this year against the 4th of July. Um, Seeing that they had Ryan Bliss, I'm like, this guy's like a little small fry coming. That's who
Yeah,
you want to getting like you guys hits like
that's
JP Craw.
crazy.
Man, I feel like you guys need to make a couple little moves, and you guys would just turn it around to like be that team because you guys have those the just pitching
Well,
staff, or even the bullpen. Andres Munoz from Mexico,
yep,
from
yep.
Mexico, so he's representing. But
Also,
the
Rosarena
Yep,
representing.
yep. But good one on. What do you think, Eric? Any teams that you favor there?
I think like you said, the Astros are probably the favorites, and then I think to come in right behind them, I think it's a toss up between the Mariners and the Rangers. I really think the Mariners, even though they didn't make that many moves, are going to stay competitive and competing with that second spot because of the pitching staff.
Yeah,
Yep,
they missed playoffs by one game the last couple years,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's what I'm saying. They just need that little
yep.
bit, and they're gonna. I'm telling. Once you get to the playoffs, anyone can win a series, and with that pitching staff, that they could even beat the Dodgers in the World Series. It's like
Right.
that good.
No.
So
Exactly.
for
That's
me,
something exciting.
yeah, let's see. We'll keep. I'm gonna be keeping up with the Mariners as much as I can too, because I'm in the PNW now, and I'm like I said, I appreciate good baseball, so they have the quality there.
So tell me again who you think will win this division, Rob.
I did say the Astros, but they actually did. I'm thinking about it. They lost Bregman, and even though
That's
they
right.
they have
Verlander.
they
Verlander's
lost.
gone too.
Verlander's already, yeah, he's already done. I feel,
Hmm.
but for me, so I'll say this: I'm gonna pick the Mariners right now because I'm gonna give them some hope. I'm gonna give them some respect because they're gonna have some material from what Turner said to them.
Hmm.
Kind of maybe will fuel them. I'm gonna
Hmm.
pick the Mariners for my division champs. And then it's gonna be a toss up between the Rangers and Astros.
Yeah, I have it as the Rangers, then the Mariners, then the Astros. And you know what I found out that's hilarious to me?
Hmm.
The A's are in Sacramento.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah,
I didn't know that.
man, their field is the worst.
That's crazy. And here's a cool stat about that field too. So they are in a smaller field compared to the Oakland one.
There's like a
Me,
college
yes.
sack state or
So
something.
so for people that are like wanting to bet on something that I've been hearing a lot, they're one of their hitters, Brett Rucker,
Oh yeah,
has
he's solid.
has has a really good chance of like becoming like the home run leader because of them playing in that park in Sacramento.
Ooh, hey, right here. Let the sports books know.
So they're
Right?
like the Eagles, right? Where they say they're LA, but they play in Anaheim.
The Anaheim's a hard field to play in for home
No,
runs.
I'm saying, but like they say they're from Oakland, but they play in Sacramento.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know, huh?
So like the
Yeah,
Angels,
which is
they're
hilarious.
they're the LA Angels, right? They say they're LA, but they
The
But
play in
they
Los
play in
Anaheim.
Angeles Angels.
Anaheim.
They had to go through a little while to figure themselves out. But they were the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim now.
Yeah.
But
Ah, cabrón.
yeah, they're they're just trying to get that market. But for me, what I'll say about the Mariners that is hopeful for them, also just we will touch up on it. They have
Mhm.
six prospects that are in the top 100, and they're all position players. So they do have some guys in the minor leagues that are quality players that that maybe that's what they're banking on. But like I said, with a pitching staff like that, you almost have to risk sometimes one or two of those guys to get that next level guy. So what I'll say is they
Common
have
sense.
think about it. They have six guys in the top 100. They're a team that's could be there for the future. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, overall, this division, the AL West, is pretty open compared to the next division that we're gonna go into.
yeah,
I feel like the top three can move a little bit between the Mariners, Rangers, Astros. There
yeah.
that can move. So next one's the NL West, where your team of your life is in there, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not going to disrespect any team in our division. Like for me, following the division, the Padres are. I mean, they're disappointed. Some of their fans are disappointed in their off season, but the Giants are. They made some moves. The Diamondbacks are actually the team that I'm most worried about this year.
I agree with that actually because
Hmm.
the studying that I've been doing a little bit is
Yeah.
that their pitching is also pretty deep.
Oh, they're right up there with the Dodgers and the Mariners with the best pitching staff.
Exactly. So no,
Pi
and then they retained a lot of their players from last season too.
Yep. Picking up
And
Corbin Burns. No, picking up yeah, Corbin Burns. That guy's solid pitcher. And then with the Zach Gallen, they got a solid pitching staff, like you said. Every from 1 to 5,
mhm.
they're solid. And then if they have that offense, so
The feel like for the Padres, they rely a lot on their players staying healthy. For
mm,
example, Fernando Tatis, he gets hurt a
hmm,
lot.
yeah,
So if he can stay healthy and you know help his team out, I think the Padres can be, but I still feel like the Diamondbacks will be the number 2 team in there.
yeah. I could talk about this division all day. What, Eric? I'll let you get in a little bit about this division. Any hot takes? Anything that you got on there?
I think the Rockies are going to be last again.
Bro, bro, you know what's crazy that I found out about the Rockies too?
What?
204 losses in the last 2 seasons.
It is what it is. I know that's what they kind of are dealing with.
That's
Eric,
crazy.
Eric, do you ever go to the games? Like they're so cheap.
No, I've never gone, and I even get free tickets to go.
Yeah,
I don't know. I might take advantage of something if like the Dodgers are in town or the
Yeah,
Mariners.
exactly.
they're
I
in
might
town like
go.
9 games a year. You should
Yeah.
be going to those games. You have like teams that you could be
They,
watching for super cheap. I mean, once the Dodgers come into town,
Yeah.
it
they
might
raise
go
the
up a
prices.
little bit.
No, not a little bit. They raise the prices every time.
Yeah.
Hijos
But
de su chingada.
I don't know.
but
I've heard like the overall experience, like a stadium wise, like going to Coors Field is probably. I think it's one of the best, but the team's always
The
shitty.
team.
I feel
yeah,
bad for. I think because I remember when Chris Bryant was on the Cubs, I was
hmm
like that fool was a beast, and like I didn't even realize he was on the Rockies. I feel bad for that guy.
injury. He's just injuries, man.
Yeah.
He's always had injuries, just like some other players, and it just kind of derailed. And they gave him money at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Then he got comfortable. But as far as the Rockies, yeah, they're going to be unfortunately probably going for another 100 losses.
Yeah.
Um,
And you know what, Rob? You can almost bet it's between the Rockies and the White Sox to see who's going to be the worst team of MLB this year.
yeah, 100%.
So that's funny.
The White Sox are like I said, are they even trying at this point?
It's
So,
crazy.
Yeah, but I
but
So
think the
we'll,
Dodgers are going to take it again because for some reason they felt like the Rams, like they just got better. And
when you
and
get the Roki Sasaki, you get Blake
Saki.
Snell. Literally, uh, Blake Snell was just like a Cy Young win from both the AL and NL before. So you pick him up. There's team players that want to be on the Dodgers. So
I got a good question for you, Rob, about the Dodgers.
yeah,
What is your opinion? Because we know Otani is a pitcher.
yeah.
Do you think that helps him out more, or does it hurt him more when he's pitching?
So he's done it before with when he played with the Angels. It does take a different toll on you. So
Hmm.
it's like the way the Dodgers are going to be. They're going to be protective with him. So they're not going to like they already slowed down his pitching.
That's
So
what I
they were,
heard.
they were going to go into May or something. So that they're not going to risk the obviously the last year how his bat he got what I don't know how many home runs were 50-50.
Yep.
So at that point they're going to be smart with their guys, and I trust that they're going to figure it out because they have so much depth other places. They don't need to rush him. They can allow him to just, hey, well, we have this game plan for you that he can trust. They can trust it.
Well, especially that's why they went to go pick up Sasaki, right? To help
Yeah,
out with that situation.
Sasaki, and that was like I said, whether the way that Shohei, how he negotiated his contract to do how he did with like
Mm-hmm.
deferring money, setting it up for possibly getting Roki, the way that he's just orchestrated for him to want the Dodgers to like be successful for the future,
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome. I'm like I said beyond myself on what the opportunities are. Give almost maybe back to back. Hopefully,
That's
that's one of the
crazy.
hardest sports to do it in to
Yeah.
go back to back.
In baseball, in any sport, it's baseball to do it back to back.
Yep. So I won't. Like I said, the Padres are still always a Dodger. Like they always play the Dodgers hard. So I like. I mean, I'm not going to say their team is going to be solid enough again that they. I won't count them out of the being in the playoffs. They can have three playoff teams in that division, and
Yeah.
it's not out of the question. So
Last question I got for you, Rob. Do
yeah,
you think they will win over 100 games or under 100?
I think they're going to win over 100. Yeah, I think
That's
that's
crazy.
pretty big.
That's a crazy stat, bro, because the average amount of teams that I've been looking up to, everyone's around 86, 80, 87. But for the Dodgers to be projected to be at around 100,
Yeah.
that just shows you like what we're going to see this season.
They're going for that Mariners record of 116. And let's see if they do that finally.
Damn.
They flirted with it a couple seasons ago, but
Yeah,
for me, it's always going to be the end goal is going to be. It doesn't matter about all those wins. I just want to make sure once we get to the playoffs, we have the best team, healthiest, and we are worried
exactly.
about winning the World Series because, like you said, it's the hardest to repeat. And
In any
we,
sport.
yep. So we'll get Eric going into sport like baseball a little bit more. I know he was more passionate about Ellie De La Cruz and other players like that, but we'll get him into being going to the Rockies
It's-
games, putting on the Rockies
well,
jersey.
since he's a San Diego FC fan, maybe he could be a San Diego Padre fan too.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna go to the Mariners game. I'm gonna go for sure.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mariners are, like I said, a good team to watch for sure.
we'll go. We should get the cuz too, Eric, in the summertime or something. We all
Yeah.
go.
The Rockies dry air, huh? But let's see. I know. Well, like I said, that'll wrap up because we'd be able to talk. I'd be able to talk about this division for so long. But
Got
I
it.
don't know if you have any other questions or anything, Fabian or Eric, about.
No,
Yeah.
No, I'm excited to see that opening series in Japan. So
Are you gonna stay up tonight? For me, I'm questioning because I know I gotta wake up early, but I might wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning to watch that. Who knows?
it's tonight.
Yeah, it starts tonight.
Oh dang! And then they play tomorrow and Wednesday.
Yeah, it sucks because they did send back Mookie. Mookie ended up getting an illness, and so that's what I'll say. So he's our shortstop, and he's always been the right fielder, was one of the best right fielders of all time. Um, but he lost 15 pounds, and they had to send him home. Losing 15 pounds playing that position is not easy. Like it's such a grueling position to play already, and for him to lose 15 pounds of this illness, I'm glad they sent him home to just go get these next couple weeks to recoup because like playing that position, for 162 games. I almost would hope that the Dodgers make that change to like put him back into the right field sometimes. But the competitor he is, he's gonna want to stay at shortstop even though
Mm,
whatever happened. So
that's crazy. That's
that's something
crazy
to look
stat
out.
that I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where. So I'm gonna stay. Actually, I'll wake up for that. I'm gonna put the alarm on to see the because it's such an important game. My brothers are went to Japan for this series, so
No way.
man,
yeah,
that's dope.
they ended up both going there. So maybe I'll have a FaceTime with them or something, see
That's cool.
what's going
That's
on.
cool.
But yeah, that's showing a big for the culture of Japan. We'll shout out Japan for sure. They've always been solid for baseball, and they're growing their game internationally. But shout out to this Japanese culture, and hopefully it goes well for them to grow the game more.
For sure.
Yep.
So yeah, let's move on to our next segment where we have our Mexican of the week and our Fresa of the week. I think I'm gonna start it off with the Fresa of the week because the three of us were debating if it would be Ancelotti or Sergio Ramos, but we ended up picking Sergio Ramos as Fresa of the week
Yeah,
Oh
because
damn,
I
we
don't know if
did.
you
I
guys
don't remember
saw.
that.
Did you guys see
we
why? Did
we
you guys see the
overruled
red
Eric. All
card?
right, we'll say it right now as it is. Eric did not have he had the one vote, and we shut it down.
It was 2-1. It was a 2-1. That way,
He tried to include his brother. We said is he on this podcast? Nope.
that this way it will always stay like fair, where it's three
Yeah.
people and the majority. It's always going to go to a majority.
Because as we know, Eric tries to influence things with his brother being in the part of it. So, just a hint for a next
Shout out,
future shout out for the
shout
fantasy
out to
drama.
our producer. Abram.
Oh, and our producer. We love you, Abram. But thank you.
But anyways, getting back to Sergio Ramos, I don't know if you guys saw that red card that he got.
Oh yeah, we ended up seeing. I just saw the highlights that you guys
It
were
was
saying.
so dumb, dude. He got it in like the 90 plus minute. And if you look back, he kind of does it on purpose where the ball's already like gone and he kicks the guy in the back, like kicks him in his butt or kicks him in his lower back or something. But like so clear where like the ref saw, the coaches saw, and he it's like he kind of like was like, oh, I didn't really like kick him. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's done that
And
before in
You
his
know why
career
he
for
did
sure.
that?
why?
Because he's so used to Real Madrid getting away with all the shit. That's like he forgot he was in Mexico. Where he's like, no, I'll be held to justice.
Yeah.
He's been doing it along every team he's been on.
Oh,
So I don't know.
and you know what I just remembered? There was also another play like on a corner kick where he was like wrestling with one of the guys and Sergio Ramos like slammed him. And
No,
the
he
ref
should have
didn't.
gotten red carded after
Yeah.
like 20 minutes because he had another one
Yeah.
where he threw an elbow. Like he was
Oh
on one
yeah.
Yeah.
this game. I don't know
Yeah.
what he
So
took before the game, but fool was on one.
the
Yeah.
the reason why I put him in Fresa of the week though is after all this crap that happened, there's some rumors and stuff that he premeditated this red card because because his wife's birthday is this week. I don't know if it's like today or tomorrow, but his wife's birthday is this week and she's in Spain. So he, I think, premeditated where he's like, I'm gonna get this red card and I'm gonna fly back to Spain because when you get a red card, you don't play the next game, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, I could, go to Spain and stay there for like 2 weeks or so and spend time with my wife and stuff. Where in that sense, like I kind of get it.
That's a
You're
real
doing it.
man, Fabian. That's not
Happy
no
wife, happy
I
fresa.
kind
life,
of
bro.
I
Hey,
get you
happy
see.
wife,
So
happy life, bro.
I don't argue that. I argue if it was premeditated and he did this on purpose because when you look back and when he got the red card and he just like kicked the guy like whatever, like give me the red card.
Yeah.
And so man, that's where I'm like, nah, man, that's not good sportsmanship. I don't like to see that. I don't care if you played for Real Madrid. If I was on the field, I would have got into his face right there too, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, bro. You do that to me again, I'm gonna. Oh, it gets me
Ah.
heated.
All
But
right, so
yeah,
he is a friend. That's why we should let him do the pas with that pasión. So Fabian, for sure, let it out. Let it
yep.
out, bro.
So that's it. Sergio Ramos, don't do that again.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric? What do you think
Well, for Fresa?
for Mexican?
Moving into that, so Mexican of the week that I found this week, his name is Kareem Lopez. So he's a basketball player for the New Zealand Breakers in the NBL. He's born in Hermosillo, Sonora.
Nice.
He's supposed to be projected to be the first Mexican basketball player drafted into the NBA as a top 20 or higher pick. So
Sweet.
fool's balling out. He's really young, so we'll see in this draft he's eligible. So we'll see if he goes higher than 20 or at least top 20. That's still it's putting us on the map.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, we're
Like
gonna
it.
be rooting for him. Yeah, the good shout out for
Yep.
sure. Good call out. So next segment, I know we're gonna go into something that we're gonna try to do once in a while for as much as we can
Yeah.
with Mount Rushmore. So we'll do a little draft into this. So we'll
Our
do
Mount Rushmore
Mount
of
Rushmore.
Mexican jerseys this time, Rob.
Yeah, to pay homage to that new one they just dropped. So we're doing it at a perfect time.
Yep. I know. Since I'm the champion, I'll go first. I guess. Huh?
Dale.
Dale.
Dale. Who's your first pick?
Anyways, I'll take the 22 jersey from away, the white one, bringing back some of the old showing our culture, the Aztec. So that was my. I'll take that one.
The white with red that we used in the World Cup, so our
Yep.
away jersey.
Yeah,
You know
I'll
what
take
was
that one.
so
that's
dumb
a good
about that?
one.
It was like one of the nicest jerseys to drop, and then we didn't get to use it one freaking game in the World Cup.
Yeah, I know.
That's so true.
But that's where I still loved it.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I remember before the World Cup too, everyone was ranking that jersey number one of all the teams too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then they didn't even get to use it because
So
of the
dumb.
opponent's team being white.
Yep.
Yep. So
Okay. I'll go next. My pick will be the 1998 Francia 98 Mexico jersey that has like the Aztec kind of
Dang, you took one
logo on
away
there.
from me, bro.
For me, that's like my number one, bro. I
Yeah,
think it's pretty hard to beat that jersey because it's so iconic. Memories that I get of that one is when El Matador with his long hair floating in the air
yeah,
wearing that jersey. I'm like, fuck, man, that looks
yeah.
awesome.
Yes, to some people, that's why I don't know how they could be rooting for Messi and all this, but Argentina, because that they broke my heart as a 6-year-old of that year. Man, I remember watching that as a family, and
Yeah,
watching them in those jerseys. Oh man, it was heartbreaking. That's why
so sick.
I hold that here. I need you guys,
Exactly.
whoever vote for Argentina, I remember that night, that little boy that got hurt.
Yeah. What about you, Eric?
So my first pick is gonna be the 2006 World Cup home Nike kit. So it was
The
that
one with
one
the
that had
V.
the V.
Oh, yep.
Hmm.
And the only, my memory was like I remember those because that was Germany, so having to wake up super early to watch the games, and I just remember watching that Iran game, and the first player I think of is Omar Bravo
Yeah.
in
I
that
think he
jersey.
wore number 19 with that one.
Yeah, so that's my
See,
Nice.
I can even remember down to the number of the jerseys that the players wore. That's how like invested I am in
Uh,
this one.
yeah.
let's see. Does it snake back, or do I go back, or
You go,
how do you
Rob.
want to do? All right, I'll do the since you took the 98 home or whatever. I'll take the home, the one with the green one. So, like I said, I still just love that they brought the artwork into the uniforms. So that's my number two,
Which one?
the 98 home jersey for the World Cup. So you
Well,
took the
that's
90. You took the away, the white one.
no. I was taking the green one.
Oh, well then I'm taking the white one, bro.
Okay, okay. I
Same
respect
white
it.
one. I still, like I said, I love the artwork,
You
love
got
it.
it.
I'm taking the 98.
I think both jerseys in '98 are pretty hard to beat. Either
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So, the next one that I'm gonna pick is gonna be for me the 2002 Korea Japón Atletica green jersey. That was the. You know why that jersey's so sick? That
Well,
was the one where Cuauhtémoc Blanco passed it to Borghetti against Italia.
that
Header,
backwards fucking header on the sideline on the
fucking
goal.
golazo, where Buffon was just like standing and he was just like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah. No, that the
That
fact that Borghetti did that header is like that goal needs to be talked about and studied more.
Buffon talks about it a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like, no other player has been able to score on him like that ever, ever.
Yeah.
So that jersey for me, my number two, I'm taking it.
Nice.
Nice,
For
yeah.
me, my second one's gonna be the 2010 World Cup away Adidas black kit.
Oh yeah, that's
So
the
that
one
was
we
that
played.
opening game, South Africa.
Yeah.
Shabalala,
Yeah.
or
The black one, right?
Shabalala.
Was that
Shabalala
black one?
goal. Yeah.
Hey, jeez.
That's my second.
That one's sick because Chicharito had a really good World Cup in that one where he scored against France.
Yeah, no, my
And he wore that
the
green
player I
one.
think back as soon as I
Yeah,
think about that jersey is Salcido. That's
Salcido,
what I think of automatically when that jersey comes up.
man. Like,
So I'll be taking so I'll be up next, right?
Yeah.
Since it hasn't been taken yet, I'm gonna take the 2025 black and gold home Adidas kit as my third for the
why,
recency
Rob?
bias. For the
Why? Why
recency
do you like
bias,
that
I mean,
one?
for me, I just black. I like black jerseys, and it's something that I'll probably pick up. So it's just like it's crisp. It's like I said, it's got the eagle in the middle. It's just solid.
That
It's right.
to me, it reminds me too much of LAFC, though. It reminds me
Well,
too
let's see.
much of that. You know,
We'll take it.
there was a kind of like someone created a green version of that shirt, Rob, that you're talking about.
Hmm.
And me and Eric saw it too, and I was like, man, we only kept the old logo too, and it was green with gold stripes,
Yeah,
that looks so freaking
It looks
sick.
so better.
yeah. See, I
If
would
it
take
would have
that
been
one
like
too.
that, but
That
no,
would
it's
have been
just
on
a
there.
concept.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one that I am gonna pick, I think I'm gonna go with the '94 USA World Cup jersey. It's kind of similar to the '98 one. I'm trying to remember the brand that they wore. I think it was ABBA Sport in that one. Claudio Suarez comes to my mind when they
Yep.
wear that jersey. So that '94 team also like had really high hopes. I think they got to cuartos de final and lost to like Netherlands in that World Cup. So I'll take the the 94 green, and this one, that's my third. I think that was my third pick. So
All right.
you're on your third pick now, Eric?
Yep. The one I'm taking is the 2005 Nike kit. So the Confederations Cup. It's the iconic ass one, the one with the numbers and the circle around it.
Yes.
So that one, I just think that's probably like in general not just one of the greatest Mexico jerseys of time, but in general like one of the nicest like overall like kits that Nike made, because it wasn't just Mexico. Like Brazil had it, and I think the U.S. had it too. But like that overall design is like one of the most like iconic ones like of all time.
That jersey that you're talking about, Eric, too. We played against Brazil in that jersey, which I think we beat Brazil in one of those games. But that's what I remember, wearing that jersey, playing against Brazil, and those games being freaking amazing too.
Yeah.
So for me, the last one I'll take is going to be the 1986 World Cup.
Ooh,
I love the
even,
collar. The
even
collar.
before I was born.
Yeah,
Rob.
I was looking it up. For me, I like some of the old collar. I like some when they wear collars sometimes for the football kits. So just bringing that, it was just classic. So I'll take that one for my last one.
All right, and my last one, I think I'm going to take the 2018 Russia World Cup one, where that's where the new logo came out, right? I think for the first time, because in 2014 the Brazil, we still had the old logo.
No,
so
we still had it in 2018 because that's when we beat Germany.
So we still had the old logo then.
It was the last one. It was the one that had the three like they would have like a
stripe. That's where Chucky Lozano scored that goal. That's right. So no, I like that one too, just because it was kind of simple, and those three lines they didn't stand out that much. But that's like nah. So I liked it because it was Adidas, simple, clean, sharp.
Fabian, 1986 also had Hugo Sanchez, by the way. So that's another one of some of the highlights I remember seeing, of him. So that's why I liked it too.
For sure.
All right, Eric, your last one.
My last one's going to be the 2014 World Cup Adidas home kit. So that'll be the No Era Penal.
Oh,
that jersey.
Fuck.
That'll be the Thunderbolt one.
Yeah. Well, that one was weird though, because they didn't match the shorts with the shirt in that one, where they would wear like black shorts and like black socks.
Yeah, that overall kit, like looking at it now, like it's like maybe if you want to throw the whole kit, but the jersey.
Yeah, the jersey was fire for sure.
Man.
I just want to say one more stat about these Mexican jerseys. From the year 2000, and between the year 2000 and 2010, La Selección Mexicana went through 3 different types of brands. So in the 2002 World Cup, we had Atletica as our brand. 2006, we were Nike. And then in 2010, we were Adidas. And from then on, we've been Adidas since. So isn't that crazy to think about? In a decade, we went through 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of different designs we got to get. Well, at least we got the Adidas to bring back some of the like I said, where we got our culture on there with the artwork on all that. So that's why I like those ones a lot too.
Yep.
I like it, you guys.
Yeah. So
but yeah, all right, guys. I think this does it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Spotify, on Instagram, and at TikTok, and also YouTube at Los Fantasy Cuz. Go check us out. Go check out some of the videos, some of the clips that our producer produces, really cool clips that we have on there. Give us some comments. Give us some reviews. We'd like to know how we're doing and what you guys think, so we can keep making this podcast caliente.
Yeah. Thank you for everyone. Like I said, if you know somebody that wants to support, just let them know. Hey, we got talk. You guys like soccer? You guys like this? These fools like to talk about it. So let us know. We appreciate everybody listening in, and we're trying to put as much content as we can for you guys. And shout out to our producers and Eric and everybody for putting in the work for us. So we're working hard for to go, to get it going. So
yeah.
We'll see you. This was fun. We'll see you guys for Thursday's night, Friday maybe episode, and we'll figure out if there's any more news on the beep gate.
That's right.
Oh, I know. Hey, did we hear a beep on this one?
No, sir.
Yep,
No,
no
sir.
beeps. Oh, I'm not at home right now, but still no beeps.
Yeah, we'll keep that in mind, Rob.
All right,
For
guys.
sure.
But yeah, everyone,
Later, peace.
have a good one. Peace.